When you hear the greats of Counter-Strike, you instinctually think of Simple, Kenny S, Scream, Olaf Meister. But when asking the newest generation of fans, they'll tell you, oh, Zywoo's the greatest, Dunk's incredible, m0NESY is the GOAT. But as of now, they would be wrong. For me, one of the greatest Counter-Strike players of all time would be the one, the only Forrest. And as much as it pains me to say this, it is official. Forrest, the 36-year-old icon, has retired. The Swedish rifler and AWPer had already made his name as a legend in Counter-Strike 1.6. Yet when CSGO launched, he continued that dominance with Get Right. With him and Ninjas in Pajamas, they formed arguably the greatest team of all time, capturing an insane 87-0 streak on LAN between the years 2012 and 2013. Forrest capped off 2013 as the number 2 player in the world. That would be his peak in the top 20, yet not his only one, as he secured the next few years in a row. From claiming 7th best in 2014, 16th best in 2015, and another 7th place in 2016, Forrest's legacy would undoubtedly be cemented as one of the all-time greats. But his greatest moment would be at 2014 at ESL Cologne, where with Freiburg, Exist, Fifloren, and Get Right, NIP would capture the most prestigious title in Counter-Strike, winning the Major. 16-11 on Cobblestone, which included 12 straight rounds in the second half of that game. Ninjas then dropped cash 16-8. But with map 3 being Inferno and down at halftime 6-9, Ninjas would claim the final 10 of 14 rounds to win it all. And to this day, that is NIP's one and only major win. And to have done it by Forrest, it's true poetry. Forrest would go on to play a historic amount of time with Ninjas, playing over 1,600 maps with the team in CSGO and racking up an incredible 2,720 days with the iconic Ninjas. In fact, he would be the final player to leave that iconic Ninjas team that hoisted the cup in 2014. With Ninjas, he claimed an astonishing 8 MVPs and a remarkable 23 LAN trophies. But sadly, as with every other professional player that stood alongside Forrest, during his heyday, time was winding down. 2019, Berlin, Starladder Major. With Get Right still by his side, Forrest, Golden, Rez, and Lekro would play in what would be his final major. Narrowly bested by MIBR 16-12 and getting trounced in the second half by Crazy 16-10, NIP would face against North for their very survival. To stay in the major, Forrest and Clue would need just 2 games, and yet it just wasn't meant to be. 16-8 on Train and 16-4 on Dust 2. Forrest's final major ends in getting swept 0-3 in the group stage of the Starladder Major in Berlin. You misused Golden, but I digress. He would last another 4 months with Ninjas before leaving the team that he grew his legacy with. Throughout his incredible 7+ years with Ninjas, through everything he had done with the team, he averaged, and I repeat this, averaged a 1.12 rating. 7 years, 1.12 rating. How does that even translate? Picture how Malbs is doing in 2024 and extend it. 7 freaking years.
What the fuck?
But that would not be his one and only team. Signing with Dignitas, he reunited with some of his teammates from NIP and Exist, Freiburg, and Get Right. Together, they would have one final hurrah. With not a lot of success, Forrest was clearly the best team on the roster. His time with Dignitas gaining a 1.08 rating throughout, their best finish was 3rd place at the Pinnacle Cup in March of 2022. Bested by Copenhagen Flames, they had to regroup for their final event at Antwerp RMRs against Outsiders. But losing to Jame, Yakindar, and crew 2-1, Dignitas would fold soon after. Releasing their entire roster, Forrest would be a free agent for the first time in his career. The then 34-year-old spending his entire career with just 2 teams in CSGO, he would fill in from time to time. But he would have an interview with Thorin and told, quote, "If anybody out there wants to give this boy a chance, I could prove everybody wrong," end quote. He would also go on saying, quote, "Don't hesitate to reach out," end quote. But no one did. No Ninjas, no G2, Not even FaZe Clan. JKS can fill in for FaZe and win IEM Kato in 2022. Then why can't Forrest? But the argument in question? Well, let's just hear it from the man himself. In a quote from Forrest, quote, "But as time went on, I also realized that you have these talents. You have Monacy, you have Bit, you have Dunk. What's so attractive about me?" End quote. Forrest even went on saying, quote, like, "Why are you doing this? Do we want to gamble on you? Why should we take you instead of like a young guy who's going to do everything to play on this level?" But yes, I was sad that I didn't get the chance to at least prove that. End quote. It's sad indeed. Seriously, I understand that with age, it's harder to be an elite player. Forrest in his final full year in 2022 wasn't pretty with a 1.01 rating, a 72.2 ADR, and an impact of a 0.94. But realistically speaking, I take Forrest over Nexa. No offense, Nexa. To see one of the greatest players in the history of Counter-Strike not even be given a chance, even at his age, is crazy to my eyes. I know. Accolades from the past doesn't mean squat in today's world. But you're telling me a lifelong 1.10 rating, major winning, 84-0 land streak, 4-time top 20 player, and a consensus top 10 player, ever player, doesn't deserve one spot on a roster? There can be exceptions to age. Tom Brady, LeBron James, Crims, if you want to get specific to Counter-Strike. Happily, however, even with Forrest calling it a career, there is good news. And honestly, it's a classy one by the team that founded his legacy upon. Forrest will be a brand ambassador for Ninjas in Pajamas and will be making his appearance at the... I don't even think I should attempt to pronounce that event. On top of that, the 6-team in-person tournament will have a nice surprise. Ninjas will be there with Forrest and his teammates from all those years ago. Exist, Freiburg, Get Right, and Lekro will be by his side to take it to the server one more time. And though there's so much more I could say about this incredible player in Counter-Strike, I think I'll let HLTV take it from here. In their article, and again, it's in the description if you want to go check it out, they wholesomely say, quote, "Forrest's retirement closes the chapter on one of the great success stories in Counter-Strike. He may not have had the proper farewell he deserved on his terms, but he will forever be an icon in the game." End quote. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you, Forrest.